Hey everybody, it's Topwater Johnny, and it's time for the pre-spawn. So in this bass fishing video, I'll be reviewing my 5 topwater lures for the pre-spawn. Let's go. Whoa, there we go. Yeah! Woo, holy cow, folks. Topwater Johnny here, man. This is what we came here for. Look at that. Get back here. Look at that right there. That's the kind of beast that we came here for. There we go. Woo! And that one hooked. Hey everybody, it's Topwater Johnny here. I want to welcome to the next video here. This video is all about the pre-spawn bass fishing and my top 5 topwater lures. Please be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and do that right now so that you don't forget. But in this video, we'll be talking about my top 5 topwater lures for the pre-spawn. Now down here in Florida, we're going through the pre-spawn. Some have even gone through the spawn or spawning right now. And as you go further up north, you guys are going to start to slowly enter the pre-spawn as it gets warmer. So what I want to do is show you some lures that can help improve your odds of being more successful during the pre-spawn. So in this video, what I'll do is I'll start with my number 5 topwater lure. I'll do a close review of it. Then I'll come back, give you my thoughts on how to fish it. And that's how we'll progress through this video here. And at the very end, I'll give you my final thoughts. So let's go ahead and get started with my number 5 topwater lure for the pre-spawn.
5.
All right, everybody. Here is the Megabass Buzz Twin Prop. The actual color is Wagasagi. The actual weight of the lure is 5 16 ounces. This is actually a what they call a finesse buzz bait. So it's actually quiet and it's basically built to be reeled on a slow retrieve. I'm using a bait caster to actually retrieve on mine. And as you can see, look where the eyes are on this buzz bait. This is looking down versus being sideways, looking out left to right. It's looking down below. And because it's looking down below, it allows for this eye to make eye contact with anything below it, which also is another way to trigger the bass. And then also the hook is actually quite elevated up to create a much more solid hook set and hook lock. So what I wanted to do was give everybody just a closer look at this lure and its design. Also, I'll show you something else here. As you can see, it's got the double props, as you can see in the front here. They're plastic and they're quiet. As you can see, this is the eye right here that's looking down, and then it's on the other side looking down as well. And as you can see, this lure is, the hook actually is tilted up rather high so that once they hit, you really do get a powerful hook set. So there is your closer look at the Megabass V-4 Buzzbait Twin Prop. All right. Okay, we're back. And as you saw, my number 5 is the Megabass V-4 Buzzbait Twin Props. And one of the reasons that I like this lure so much for the pre-spawn is that those bass are moving up shallow. They are looking to bed, but they're also feeding. And a buzzbait normally would be too much right now, be too noisy, too loud. But this is a finesse buzzbait, a silent buzzbait. Look at the spinners on here. Look at those. Those are all clear right there. So this is more finessey and silent, and it can be rolled through those areas of shallow water very slowly. Those bass are looking up, as you already know. And check it out right there. As you can see, those eyes are actually facing down. So those eyes are actually looking down on them. This is more of a bluegill pattern here. And actually the price on this, I got it to hook up tackle for $15.99. So that's how much it costs. But when you're fishing the shallows in the pre-spawn, they're chasing. And this right here doesn't create a lot of disturbance, but yet it has a big presence. and has something for them to key on. In my actual description box, you're going to see all of the all the lures that I'm talking about in this video there, and I'll show you footage of me actually fishing with this lure. And as you can see, I do not have any type of trailer hook on it. You notice how it's actually raised up here. So that allows for really strong hookup ratios and really a great chance to lock them down really good here. So for those shallows, this is my number 5 topwater lure for the pre-spawn.
4.
Hey everybody, it's Topwater Johnny here, and I'm doing a quick review of the 6 cent hybrid swim crank. Newest one by 6 cent. This lure right here, very unique lure. It only goes down about an inch in the water, so it's like almost like a wake bait here. It's got a really cool paint job. As you can see, mine is a little banged up because I've been really fishing it. But as you can see, really cool paint job there. Really good design. It's got those 3D eyes on there as well. It's got big mustad hooks with a feather tail in the back. And this is definitely a lure that can get and will get bit. So my question to you is, please leave a comment. Give me your thoughts about it. Okay, as you saw there, my number 4 topwater lure is the actual hybrid 6 cent hybrid swim crankbait here. So this is actually a swim bait and a crankbait at the same time. As you can see, it has a jointed piece right here. And one of the reasons that I like this one, and this is the D1 here, the reason I like it is because this is a shallow crankbait, but it's a big presence. And also, this model looks like a bluegill. And as you know, those bass, when they are in the pre-spawn, they're looking to feed up, especially those female bass. And those female bass can get really big. So I wanted to have something that offered them like a bigger target to center on. So when, of course, you're catching little bass, but when you're fishing in areas where there are big bass that are bedding and big bass that are actually pre-spawn, you want them to have something to target on that's a little bit bigger. So like I said before, this only goes down about a foot in the water column here. It's got a very small bill on the very front here, but it does make a lot of clanking noise, a lot of action here. Comes with a feather treble already. This is a great lure here. The price actually is $12.99, and I purchased this from Tackle Warehouse. And I really like this lure here. Like I said before, has a lot of erratic movement and action. You can fish it fast, you can fish it slowly, and you can actually let it kind of sit over them and annoy them and trigger a really great reaction bite. So once again, this is definitely a lure that you can use during the pre-spawn here. And this is the number 4 topwater lure for the pre-spawn.
3.
Okay, everybody, here's our closer look at the Biobait DNA Switchback. And this actually is, as you know, a jerk bait. But what makes it so unique is it is, by this company, it is 99% more biodegradable than all the other jerk baits on the marketplace. As you can see, they actually do a design right onto the actual jerk bait itself to create the illusion of a fish. They also have a forked tail in the back, which creates a lot of action and movement and darting motion here with this lure as well. It is weedless, as you can see right here, so I can hook it right into the back of it here, and it sticks right in there nice and neat. The typical jerk bait bottom on the bottom of it is top, kind of a square bill in the front here, and this lure is really built to swerve and dart and move quickly, creating that erratic motion. I normally have this set up as a weedless presentation, but what I wanted to show you guys was something a little bit different that can work as a top water or subsurface bait, and that is the Biobait DNA Switchback. All right. Okay, we're back, and surprise, yes, Topwater Johnny does use a fluke, and here's the fluke that we are using here. Now, I want to share with you some reason why I would use this. As I said before, during the pre-spawn, they bust on top, but there's a lot of surface waking going on. I mean, they're right below the surface. and you can see them waking, but you can't always see them. They could be in the grass, they could be under rock cover, and you can see them moving and you can see waves rolling, but you can't always see them. This lure gets down to the right depth. Actually, I fish this as a weedless presentation. Therefore, I can pull it through the grass, I can pull it through cover, and it stays very high in the water column. And because it's a fluke, there's a lot of erratic movement to it. Now, one of the things that makes this lure so very special is that it comes from a company called Biobaits here, Biobait DNA, and they made a biodegradable type of lure here. In other words, normally these plastics don't biodegrade that well, but this particular one does biodegrade extremely well. Comes in a package of 6 of them, has its own scent and oil inside of the actual packet here. As you can see, its own scent and oil that comes with it here, as well as that unique design on the outside. And so I normally will fish this in heavy grass when I see them waking inside of the grass and I see them searching. In other words, the bass are there, but you can't really see them because they're hiding. This, you can drive right through that grass and pull them out. And as you can see right here, weedless presentation, but the hook, there's a lot of room to set that hook on them as well. And I just wanted to show you guys that you can turn this fluke into a subsurface topwater lure just by fishing it weedless through heavy cover. And the price for this particular lure right here, in other words, the price for these flukes is $7.99. And that is my number 3 topwater lure for the Prespawn.
2,
This is the Picro 68F. It is actually 2 2/3 in length. Its weight is a 1/6 ounce. It's a floating lure. And as you can see on the top there, the actual bill is on top of the actual lure itself. And it's designed to be there to prevent the actual line from tangling with the hook. This is a OSP kind of production, and it has what they call the eye motion, which means it really has great motion and movement like a fish. But there it is. All right. All right. And my number 2, as you saw, topwater lure for the Prespawn is the OSP Picro 68 right here. And I've showed footage of this one in the past here. This one gets eaten up really well here. The reason that I like this lure so much is because of the vertical, as you can see, the vertical bill. Instead of it being on the bottom, it's on the top, which allows it to not get tangled up as much. Also, it has great movement and erratic nature in the shallows. So when you're throwing this one right here, and normally when you would throw something like this, you probably want to throw it on a 7-foot medium with about 8 to 12 pound braid here, because this one does go through cover really well, even though it has treble hooks here. As you can see, I added a feathered treble hook to the back. Normally it would come with a feather in the back right here, but I modified this and took the feather off and put the actual treble hook on the back here because I was getting lots of short strikes. And what I like about it though is it has such a great minnow presentation here, and it moves and it jerks just like a little minnow in the shallows. So in the Prespawn, as you know, bass are filling up and eating up to get themselves ready to spawn. This little lure right here is a great bite-sized type of meal for a bass, whether it is a 1 pound bass or a 5 pound bass, it doesn't matter. And in video footage that I have that you can see in my description box, you see me catching little bass and big bass on this same lure because it's such an easy thing for them to key on, and the feather tail makes the difference. So when you're fishing the shallows, this type of lure with the match the hatch minnow presentation will make a big difference and improve your odds. So this is my number 2 topwater lure for the Prespawn. And I almost forgot. The price on this lure is $17.49, and I got it at Carolina Tackle. All right.
1,
All right, everybody. Here we got the ISM Pull 70F minnow right here, and the specs on it is the size is 2.75 in actual length. The weight is 1/6 ounce, and it's designed to go down about a foot in the water column here. As you can see, it only comes with one singular hook. In the back, it's actually got feathers in the back to create an attraction. It's got a hump here because it does kind of an undulating movement in the water, kind of up and down in the water column. As you can see, the hook tie is in the actual top of it instead of in the nose because it's designed to kind of have an up and down type of movement through the shallow water column. As you can see, it got a big eye right here to be noticeable so that the bass can key in on the front here or on the back. I got the one on the bottom that actually has a little bit of orange on the bottom to create a little bit of gill, kind of like a little noticeable gill pattern there, and to notice the color in the bottom of it as well. And it's got some rattles in it as well to create a little bit of noise. So this is a good little minnow to attract those bass when they're chasing minnows in the shallow. All right, and our number one top water lure for the pre-spawn is the ISM Pull 70F. And this particular lure here, you will be surprised. It has a hunchback in it here. I got it from the hookup tackle, and I watched a video of them fishing with this in the tank, and I saw how effective it was at moving through the shallows really fast and aggressive and triggering a great reaction bite. In the pre-spawn, those bass are eating once again, match the hatch. They're filling up on minnows, then they're trying to bulk up. And this particular lure right here is a great, once again, a great little morsel for them to attack and eat. And when I fish with this lure, they always seem to eat it head on first. As you see, it's got great eyes there as well to enhance the actual strikes. I added a bigger feather tail to the front here. It comes with a little bit smaller hook, but I wanted them to key in on the whole lure here because they were striking sometimes just the back and there's no hook in the back. So I wanted them to have a really big target to key on. So I added a feather tail here to improve my hookup ratio here. This actual lure I got from the hookup tackle. The price was $19.99, and it does have a little rattle in it as well. And it works really, like I said, once again, really great in the shallows. So when you're fishing the shallows, they're chasing, but they can easily be spooked. So that's why having a lure that is subtle when it lands, but yet makes a lot of little motion when it's going through their area makes a big difference. And so what I've seen is that when I'm fishing subsurface, this is the kind of lure that I really want to have in my arsenal to catch those fish. And I'll be having a video come out on this one exclusively in the near future as well. But this is my number one top water lure for the pre-spawn, the Pull 70F by ISM. All right. Oh, and also, before I go, I want to give you another lure an honorable mention because it's just a great lure at this time of year, whether it's the pre-spawn or definitely, I'll be featuring it again definitely when the spawn comes around, but it is the Megabass Rock Hog right here. So those that fish worms and creature baits, this lure right here is another great pre-spawn bass fishing lure right here as well. It looks like an actual crawl. I fished it in my videos on top, and it was a top water lure. It had great kicking motion, great kicking action here. But also what makes this one so special is that if you stop reeling it, it will dive down, and those pincers will come up into a more defensive type of form right there. And that's why this right here could also be a great pre-spawn particular lure here as well, because not only can you actually fish it as a top water across the grass and lily pads, you can stop it and kill it, and it'll drop down into a defensive posture, and that will also trigger those bass to bite as well. So this is definitely one I really like. I got it from the hookup tackle. Price was $7.99. It comes in a actual package of 6, and it is definitely worth it. You look through my video channel, you will see a video of me featuring this one right here and really doing well on it. So I just wanted to give that lure an honorable mention along with my other top 5 topwater lures for the pre-spawn. All right. Okay, and here's our quick recap. Here are the top 5 topwater lures for the pre-spawn. Down there at number 5 is the Megabass V-4 Buzzbait. Number 4 is the 6 cent hybrid swimcrank. Number 3 is the Biobait DNA Bass version. The number 2 is the OSP Picro 68. And the final one is the ISM Pull 70F. And these are your top 5 topwater lures for the pre-spawn bass fishing. Okay, everybody. Well, there you go. You saw my review of my top 5 topwater lures for the pre-spawn and a bonus lure that I really do like a lot. And what I wanted to do here in this video was kind of show you something a little bit different. In other words, topwater, I love it when they come up and explode, but what you have to sometimes realize is that these bass don't always explode on top, but they're waking on the top. In other words, you can see the wakes of them moving around, and they're not really breaking the water, but they're right at the surface edge. So having that lure that's just below the surface that can trigger that reaction bite or trigger that bite because it matches the hatch is a great lure to have in your arsenal here. Now, the lures that I've mentioned here, as I said before, all the videos on those lures are in my description box. So if you go to the description box, you can look at videos of those lures and me fishing with them in a more in-depth way. What I wanted to show you was 5 lures that I'm using right now to try to catch more fish during the pre-spawn. And as the pre-spawn goes on, I'll be fishing these lures more aggressively, but also adding more other lures to my arsenal as well to see if I can get those bites as well. But also, as I said before, remember where you are in the country here. You know, when bass start to bed, they're all going shallow, but the way they go shallow is the big difference. Some are in the grass, some are in rock, some are in cover, but they're all looking to bed somewhere. So it's important for you to understand what's in the environment around them so that you're fishing the right type of lure to get their attention and, most importantly, to reach them, because sometimes they can be bedding under grass and you can't even see them and they can't even see your lure. So you got to be conscious of where you're fishing at so that you can pick the right lure. And so that's why I have a diversity of lures that helps me do that. So I just wanted to share with you guys that as well. Got another video coming out on Monday. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that one as well. And I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for subscribing to the channel. As always, please leave a comment below about these lures. What's your thoughts about them? Do you have one of these lures? Do you have a lure that's similar to it? Just giving me your thoughts and feedback really helps me understand where you guys are and what you're trying to accomplish in your own fishing experience as well. So please like, subscribe to the channel. Like I said before, I really appreciate you guys. And I want you to always remember that phrase. Keep your line tight, because when you hit those topwater lures, it's going to be a big bite. I'll see you guys in the next video.